Want to date more efficiently and increase the odds of finding a great partner? Then you're in the right place. Ready? Hi, it's Ken with 21traits.com, where you can take the free 90-second quiz that instantly identifies your critical compatibilities to date more efficiently and find the right partner faster. So I've been thinking about the feeling that happens when you meet someone who really stands out, seems like a uniquely good fit. It's that anxiety that tends to happen early on because getting liftoff in the beginning is tough for all the reasons you already know. I mean, you're super attracted to them, yet spending more time wondering than engaging. I'm calling it attraction anxiety. Not only is it natural, it'd be odd if you weren't a little bit anxious. We tend to elevate the stakes since special connections aren't common and we really want them to work. And if you start thinking, how great would it be if this were my person? Well, that'd be fine, unless you can't let go of that thought. Attraction anxiety tends to happen early on because these situations are so rare and can disappear as quickly as they came. It's all white hot and random, as we said in the podcast on dating realities. Well, in this episode, I'm going to offer several easy-to-implement tools for all of us, whatever age, gender, orientation, to combat overthinking, obsessing, or getting anxious in the early going, that fragile time when you're hoping to get momentum, yet not in control. When we can't help questioning ourselves. What does she think of me? Is he going out with other people? Why aren't we going out on weekends? Where do I stand with her? And so on. Before I get to these tools and examples you can use to calm your nerves, I'd like to relate getting momentum early to long-term relationships, our recurring theme. Many of the people we hear from think a lot about meeting their long-term partner. Should I be doing something different? When will it happen? Will it ever happen? Why is this so hard? And so on. And like many things we want but can't control, it's better to trust it will happen, to have faith rather than wonder or worry too much. Of course, that's easier said than done, but you can visualize, meditate, try to manifest, even pray. But you can't know when it will happen, and you also can't rush it, force it, or will it to happen. Worrying and overthinking will only get you in trouble. Oh, and by trouble, I mean make you anxious and the other person wary. People pick up quickly on those who come across as needy, crowding, insecure, moving too fast. In short, a little caught up. Also, I'm just going to say that a lot of people buy into the cat and mouse game of waiting a certain amount of time to reach out or respond, revealing their interest incrementally. Some people advise you to do this with calculated purpose, to attract someone, since people are often driven to engage with those who aren't interested in them. This is apparently human nature and a topic I admit to not fully understanding. But my main intention here is not coaching your conversation or how to conceal your emotions. It's to help you take an approach that will more likely lead to a long-term thing and to reduce or eliminate anxiety that comes from being more than a little attracted to someone, whether it's after a first phone call, first date, or several dates. It's these initial weeks and months, call it the first season of dating, that's critical because you're essentially testing chemistry and rapport, merging lifestyles, releasing personal information slowly, and dealing with the frustrating reality of ADD, attention dating disorder. The upside of apps is you can meet a lot of people you'd otherwise never encounter. The downsides are the infinite supply of people, disposability, uncertainty, FOMO, and addiction to the scroll. Trust me, the apps work very hard to keep you engaged. Anyway, let's get to the tools that can help you combat overthinking, obsessing, getting anxious, particularly in the beginning when you're looking to get traction or increase momentum due to what I'm calling attraction anxiety. This is when you connect with someone who really stands out or seems right for you. It's kind of like fear of loss meets getting to the next level. Tool number one date at a time. So instead of wondering when you're going to meet your person or whether there's a future with the one you're dating, here's the mindset I recommend adopting. Say this over and over to yourself until it's ingrained in how you think. One date at a time. This tool, this whole podcast really, is about keeping things in perspective. It's so important. You know that. But emotions can get the best of us. Sometimes you have to control the urge to check your phone, check the app, care too much. You need to limit your time and emotional investment. You really just need to slow your roll. So tool number 1, make your mindset one date at a time. Tool number 2, resist projecting. Here's a question. How much do you know about the person's life, current circumstances, interest in you, and dating readiness and style after a couple of dates? I'll tell you what, I'll answer it for you. Nothing. You know nothing. You might think you do, you don't. Whatever you think, hope, project, imagine, infer, it's all conjecture. Even if they've revealed things to you, you don't know how much of it is true or misdirection or polite conversation in the moment. Here's another way to put it. Words are just that. They don't hold any more or special meaning until they do. Do you know what percentage of communication every day is random, polite, inane, and not to be taken seriously? Well, either do I, but it's more than you think. Even facts aren't facts, particularly in dating world. People put their best foot forward and hold back the rest. I mean, do you post your worst photos, comment on your weaknesses, reveal troublesome things about your day or life? Of course you don't. No one does. Hey, maybe the person you're dating or considering is dealing with some challenging circumstances, but they're temporary. Maybe that person is you. Either way, it's your job to be patient and curious. After some time, you'll find out what's true, what isn't, and what's been left out. They'll be learning the same things about you. Now, none of this should be threatening or worrisome, just practical, a reality check. Most people communicate truthfully and sincerely, but not everyone is forthcoming or says exactly what they mean. They often leave things out that could be perceived as a downside, and it's not always intentional. All that said, it's not worth the hand-wringing over anything you've heard or haven't, unless and until you know enough, until you're in a relationship where feelings and intentions have been communicated. Ultimately, a relationship for which you're willing to face the consequences of confronting the other person with their truths and yours. Look, we can't possibly know what's going on in another person's mind or life. Getting to know someone comes from discovering their life and context in real time, and they should be doing the same with you. We can't rush to judgment or try to guess why something is or isn't happening. Chances are we'd be wrong. So tool number 2, resist the urge to project, to guess, to assume. Tool number 3, distraction. Distraction is typically something that happens to us without our being aware of it. In this case, I'm recommending you consciously, purposefully distract yourself. It's a great way to gain control over things you can't. When you become mindful of anxiety or recurring thoughts you want out of your head, you can intentionally distract yourself into a more productive state of mind. You can come up with your own devices or distractions, but I'll give you 3 examples right now. Immersion, calendaring, expanding. By immersion, I mean immerse yourself in you. You've heard this before, but it's worth repeating. Immerse yourself in the things you need or love to do, whether they lead to meeting someone or not. Immerse yourself in yourself. When your communication with someone is paused, or should be, but your thoughts are getting the best of you, turn to planning or participating in other activities. Keep in mind, too, that what you love and what you do define you more than another person or relationship, at least for now. So get back to work, go for a run, clean the kitchen, whatever it is. A second example of distracting yourself is to calendar your communication. Now, I don't mean literally writing it into a calendar, but when you create designated times that you're allowed to contemplate or follow up, it's a relief. It creates space in your mind and distance from thinking about the person or relationship. It's a kind of controlled breath or spacing to help you through the waiting period, you might call it. Silence is often harder than communicating, but sometimes it's called for. Saying anything can do more harm than good sometimes. Relentless thinking or reaching out rarely leads to a positive outcome. So this tactic enables you to distract yourself by scheduling the time you can text or call back. It's outreach by appointment only. Thoughtfully choose a time in the future, even if it's just a day or two out, that you objectively see as the right time to revisit your thoughts or connect again. The third example of purposeful distraction is to expand your options. Apps make this easy. We never know if the person we've just started speaking with or dating is going to last a week, a month, a season, any period of time. So it's always an option to explore other people until such time as you have faith that things are going the way you want them to. Knowing you have other options and exploring them at your own pace is a totally legitimate and productive way to get your mind off of one person. So tool number 3 is expand your options. You can distract yourself using those 3 methods and any others you see fit. There's no time frame, no formula, no guarantee, and while you can always help a relationship along, it really needs to happen more or less on its own. And of course, it needs to be mutual. Above all else, love in the long term, finding your partner, requires that you be patient, keep the faith, and follow your path. Eventually, someone will cross it. So revisit this podcast if you get caught up wondering if someone is your person until there's no longer any need to wonder. For now, distract yourself, avoid projecting, and just take it one date at a time. Make sure you follow our podcast, share it with friends, and take the quiz at 21traits.com. See you next time.